Hey guys, welcome back to Insomniac Stream. It's a whole new year. Happy belated new year to you guys. Hopefully 2018 brings many great things for you. Really excited to start off this year with a winter fae look, since you guys know that anything fantasy is very close to my heart. I, of course, would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and as always, if you enjoy what goes on this channel, please feel free to subscribe, share, like, all that fun, awesome stuff. But of course, let's just jump right into it, and I hope you enjoy. First part of this look, of course, is to apply the ears. These elf ears I bought from Aradani Studios. These are just these small elf ears. My own ears are actually quite small, so I have to actually glue part of these ears onto where my hair sits, just so that they'll actually fit where they're supposed to, or else I would have to cover my entire ear. So to do this, I just went ahead and covered my hair with about 3 layers of a glue stick and just let that fully dry. And then I used spirit gum to put a layer over top of my ears, as well as on the actual latex ears themselves. Waited for both ends to dry and get tacky, and then figured out placement for them. What you're essentially aiming for is to have that outside edge connect smoothly with your own ear, and not to cover the actual cavity of your ear, if that makes sense. If you sit the ear too low, you will go over top of your actual ear hole, and it will not look as natural. You know, as natural as an elf ear looks. But that is why you can see I am more concerned about the outside edge, and then I let the upper portion of the ear just attach to where my hairline is, because that is the best way to make it look more natural from a distance. Then if you don't care about seam lines, you of course could just leave them as they are. They will be fully adhered and not fall off or anything. But if you want to kind of hide that seam line a little bit more, especially if you were to have maybe an updo or have a ponytail in, you may want to do this step, which is just adding about 3 to 4 layers of liquid latex along that edge. And you want to just build that up until you really don't see that seam line. The more thin layers you build up, the more smooth and softer this gradient will be. And when the liquid latex was fully dry, I just went ahead and powdered it with a little bit of HD setting powder. This is just to get rid of any of the tackiness and shine. It also lets you kind of see if maybe you need a few more layers on top of this. And once you are happy with how your ears are looking, you can move on to basing out your face and chest and ears. For this, I am using the Makeup Forever Color White. This is just a cream product. I like to apply this with a pretty thick, dense brush, and then use a sponge to kind of pat out and dab out any brush marks you might get and make it look a little bit more seamless and smooth. For around the eyes and nose, I definitely go down to a bit of a smaller brush to be able to get those details better without accidentally getting a bunch of cream product into your eyes. And then also pat that out lightly with the sponge. Around the ears, you definitely want to make sure to be patting the cream product on top. Since it's a thick application but in a very small area, it's actually pretty easy to accidentally lift the latex. So just making sure that you're patting the cream product on top, you're not going to accidentally lift the latex and pull off your nicely blended seam line. And then because this is a cream white, you definitely want to make sure to set it. I'm using Nye Neutral Set Powder. If you have one of these super white powders, it would be even better here. I don't know why I don't own any yet. But as you can see, I like to pat my powder on as well, just to really set the cream in place and not risk lifting up or moving it at all. And this will just make it so that shadows are much easier to blend on top, as well as ensure that the cream stays in place. For over the eyes, I wanted to extra set the white cream product, as well as add a little bit more pigmentation. So for this, I just used a white shadow and applied it all over my lid and up to my brow. And then taking the gray shadow from the same Perfect Filter palette, I went ahead and started defining the eyes better. I ran this color just into the crease with a soft blending brush and then pulled it out a little bit on the edges to create a little bit of a winged shape to the shadow, but keeping it really soft and not being too defined. And then a lot of elvish fae lore, they tend to have much stronger angular features. So I used the same gray shadow to try and add a little bit more contouring to my face along my cheeks and my nose. My nose, I tried to make appear quite a bit more straight than mine actually is. And then for the cheeks, I just added a really strong angular contour to make it look like I had higher cheekbones. And I didn't blend it out too much because I wanted this to kind of be just a strong, sharp, angular line for the face. Another thing I did was just add a little bit more definition to the ears. They already have the nice lines sculpted into them on the actual prosthetic, but since we covered it entirely in white, to bring back some of that definition, I went in with the gray and just deepened the areas that I wanted to stand out a little bit more. And then taking the light and dark shadows from my Sugarpill palette, I just wanted to add a little bit of flush to the skin of my faerie, just along the cheeks, on the tip of the nose, and on the ears. My idea for this kind of being when you go out in the winter and you get that wind burn and chill along the high points of your face. This is probably a little bit more flattering than when you actually come out of the cold, but that was kind of my idea behind this. Jumping back to the eyes, I did want them to be a focal point for this look, so to kind of make them stand out, I started with a silver shadow that I applied over the entire lid, focusing mainly on the inner corners. And then using the black from that same Perfect Filter palette, I just focused this on the outer corner and pulled it into the crease a little bit, as well as underneath my eye, and feathered it out, just to create a much stronger definition to the eye. And then for lining my eyes, I resisted my natural tendencies to create a big wing, and instead created a much thicker, short wing that just adds a little bit of definition to the outside of the eye, and makes it so that the eyes stand out a lot more. Threw on a good coat of mascara to both my top and bottom lashes, and then moved on to the eyebrows. For the eyebrows, I just used the same gray shadow that I had used on my eyes and for contouring. I again wanted to play with that idea of more angular features, so I made them a little bit more of a straight brow and had a bit of fun by adding a little bit of a slice to the outside of the brows, and then defined it with the same white cream. And then for a little bit more fun, I added a holographic silver glitter. This one's just Share by Lit Cosmetics, and I applied this all over the inner corner of my eyes, as well as just along the bottom so that they would stand out a little bit. I used NYX's chromatic highlighter just along all the high points of my face, so the cheekbones, nose, and just above my lips. And then threw on some top lashes and some individual lashes on the bottom before adding some fun little freckling with my Wolf water activated white face paint and a NYX eyeliner brush. For the lips, I used NYX's Pin Up Pout lipstick. This is just in the color Smoke Me, which is kind of a dark lilac shade. And I just applied this all over my lips, and then took a little bit of the white cream and applied it to the center just to give it a little bit more of a gradient. Then at this point I decided to throw on my wig, which I'd kind of pre-styled in a mess on top of my head. And then because this lace front has seen better days, I decided to kind of hide its weird edge by using some craft snow and some lash glue, and just applied this all over, as well as a little bit on my neck and shoulder. And then of course threw on my faerie crown headpiece that I made, which I will have a DIY for. And then realized that it just seemed a little bit off, and I decided I wanted to add some contacts in. These ones are white mesh contacts from Camo Eyes. Certainly don't need the contacts, but they do add a little something extra, which is kind of fun. But that is it for my winter fairy makeup tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. I weirdly really love bringing different fae creatures to life, so this is one that's probably been on my list of to-dos for way too long. I might be getting slightly quieter on Instagram for the next little bit just because I have a ton of behind-the-scenes projects in the work, but don't worry, for YouTube I have a ton of backlog videos that I have to get up for you anyways, so I'll be all good there. Still will probably keep updating my Instagram stories though, so if you're interested in that at all, feel free to check it out. It will all be worth it, I promise, because I have a lot in the works. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you got all the way to the end, you guys are amazing. I love you so much. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to see us grow and see more crazy creature creations. That was a lot of C's, but whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I will see you next video. So until then, bye guys.